It was eye-opening in the way everything's set up.
I kind of expected people to be more hostile towards us because we were from the U.S.
Everybody's family at one point or another came through there.
No country can withstand changes like that without getting their culture changed as well.
Cuba, a place where almost every culture is blended in, has a rich history but is unknown to most Americans. A lucky few have traveled there to experience the music, food, and environment for themselves.
I think the most present thing would have to be how safe it felt. I didn't feel too out of place or like in danger. It wasn't as scary as I thought it would be. The culture was amazing. The music was fun to listen to and to dance, and you just see people singing along and dancing in the streets no matter what.
It was a lot like Mexico when I went there, but more like tropical, and it felt a little bit older because of how secluded it was, it seemed.
I think in terms of Native American culture and Mexican culture, they're pretty similar.
During the wars with Native American tribes in New Mexico, Comanches, Apaches, and Navajos especially, because there was never really a war with Pueblos. There was that revolt, and then everybody said, okay, we want to be your friends now, and besides, here's the Comanches that are giving everybody a problem. There were many instances of like Apache and Comanche prisoners. They would send them to Cuba. They'd say, okay, we don't want to kill you, because that would just make more problems. This is the government speaking. If we punish you here, you're going to get really mad at us, and you're going to keep fighting us, and so we're going to put you into exile. And so they would march people out of New Mexico, clear down to Veracruz, put them on boats, and they'd end up in, a bunch of Native people ended up in Cuba.
I really liked going to Las Terrazas, where we went to the river and swam in it.
Just seeing all the beautiful trees and plants and just looking at a different type of environment than what we're used to.
Las Terrazas is a biosphere reserve. It had been clear-cut, and there had been coffee plantations put in there, and then after the revolution, people grew the forest back, and so that's the big attraction now, and the community that they have.
I think something that not a lot of people realize is not everyone is on board with communism, and a lot of people suffer from it, but at the same time they make do with what they have, and they just try bettering themselves even though it's kind of hard.
Well, in Cuba, everyone seemed like closer integrated and happier with being at a lower level of income and lifestyle. It seemed cool that they were okay with not being the wealthiest person around and just living life, you know?
Everybody showed up there. Some people think of an island as being isolated or something, and anybody can show up in the whole, you never know who's going to show up. The Dutch came through, the French came through. When the Holocaust happened, a lot of Holocaust refugees were turned away by the United States because of immigration quotas. They were turned away, and Cuba took them. There's always been a really dynamic Jewish community in Cuba, into the population. Some people call them Jubans. It's really diverse. It's incredibly diverse. The only missing link is the natives, because they were like totally absorbed. There's blacks, mostly from West Africa. The big difference in Cuba is that they let them speak their languages. It made Cuba really very dynamic and unique culturally because there's a lot of African culture that's still alive and well.
Don't expect them to be like anti-America, and don't go in there expecting communism to be terrible, like everyone impoverished and stuff like that, because it's not like that.
Traveling to any country that's different from America is kind of eye-opening because you kind of see not everyone lives the way we do, and just the things they're faced with we could never imagine living with.
llegó a